Our first guest in Shattering Stereotypes is British Sri Lankan singer-songwriter Arjun. Known for his unique style that bridges the gap between Western and Eastern music, Arjun is one of the first artists that popularized fusion music globally. Hello, Arjun. We're so excited to have you here.
Yo, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. Thanks.
Let's get right into the questions. So I would say one of the first stereotypes that you've broken is obviously your career path. Like being a South Asian, no one really considers it as an actual potential for it. I'm also very into the creatives and stuff. What would you consider a possible path that you would have taken if the singing and the music didn't really work out, or didn't
hadn't been a singer? Interesting. Something probably in kind of in the media space, maybe advertising or marketing, or maybe graphic design. I was quite into art as a kid. I was actually more into drawing and painting than I was into music. So maybe something in the art field, like graphic design or film production, something like creative, basically. Something
in the media and entertainment still.
In the media, yeah.
Do you recall your first performance and why you were even into music at all?
It's a funny story. When I was a kid, I actually was in a rock band. So when I was about 14 years old, I was in a metal rock band. So I used to spray my hair pink and green and all kinds of crazy colors. And I was in a band with 4 English guys. So really tall. I was really small, like Asian kid, and really 4 really tall white guys in this band. And then we used to play death metal, like metal and rock music. And I remember we used to do shows, and my parents were like, "What's going on? What have we done with this child? He's crazy." But yeah, so we used to do shows in small gigs in pubs. Do you have pubs in America? Bars.
Clubs, basically.
Yeah, okay. small kind of open mic events, and yeah, that was kind of where it began. And then I obviously went into more the R&B thing. I think I got to about 16 years old, I became much more into the whole kind of Usher, Craig David, kind of more R&B sound, and then I kind of began to do more gigs kind of in the more, I guess, R&B space, and then eventually the more Indian stuff. Probably university, college time, I got very into Bollywood and the kind of South Asian world. So yeah.
So who taught you the band thing?
Was that, sorry?
Who talked you into the whole band thing in the beginning?
Band thing? I don't know, actually. I think, when you're around a certain environment, you just kind of get into it, right? So I think your friends really dictate a lot of your interests early on. So I was in boarding school, so I wouldn't go home till the weekends, and so in the weekdays I was kind of around people. And at that time in the UK, it was very much the thing was rock music. I think now it's become much more hip hop, trap, R&B maybe, but back then it was more rock music. Yeah.
So I feel a lot of celebrities talk about how it seems so glamorous and so amazing from the outside world. What would you consider the most rewarding and the worst part of what you do on a daily basis?
So the most rewarding thing probably actually is seeing the world, which I haven't done for the last year because of coronavirus. But for the previous maybe 8 or 9 years, I've literally toured the world non-stop. I've been very, very blessed to see basically where all the Indians are around the world. Basically, so whether it's Africa, Australia, Dubai, America, Far East. So I think that's been the main blessing for me, because I love traveling and I love to kind of experience new cultures, new places. So I think that's been the biggest blessing. And to meet people, I think, we're in a very online world. I think the Instagram kind of Snapchat generation, we assume that that's actually a real life interaction, but it's not. But actually, when you're on tour, you kind of get to meet the fans in real life, meet people from different backgrounds, learn what they're into, learn what they like. I think that's been a blessing too, to kind of meet people all over the world. And what was the second part of the question? What was the bad side?
The worst part, or something
part. Well, the worst part, I think, is, I would say, I think at the moment it probably is a large chunk of it is I think your whole career is determined off of how kind of relevant, or how, I guess, how trending you are. I think it's very easy for an artist to kind of get caught up in the likes and the comments and the views, and I guess lose sight of what actually they are into themselves. So as an artist, you kind of want to try and preserve that, that feeling that you're kind of proud of the kind of content that you create, and not just chase the big views and the big numbers. I think that pressure of balancing the two, of trying to be kind of happy with who you are as an artist, but also kind of staying kind of on top of the game, and kind of being a relevant artist too. So that struggle is always hard.
That is, yeah, I feel like people can fall off so quickly just based on like one thing that they do.
It's a very kind of fickle industry. I think, I mean, if you look at the mainstream industry, like there's artists that have one big song and then you don't hear about them ever again. I think the beauty of our industry is that we have very loyal fans. So the South Asian fan base kind of like really buy into you as a person, and they kind of buy into your brand. And I think if the songs aren't good, that they may still love you for you, hopefully, as a brand. So I think that is a great thing about being South Asian.
Yeah, I think speaking of the tour, I think you were in Dallas like exactly a year ago, and I was at that show. It was the craziest thing ever, and everything shut down right after.
Yeah, so I think exactly. I think the US is always I think probably my favorite place to kind of be to perform, because I think they kind of I think you guys understand the Western side and the Eastern side. So I think I think the US and the UK get the kind of R&B and the kind of pop music, and they also get the Desi side too. So it's always a nice time in Dallas too. Nice.
Yeah, always good time. So I think a lot of people in my age group kind of have conformed to the basic stereotypical like career paths. I'm assuming you always kind of ventured away from that kind of thing. So like, what is something you wish more people had told you as like a 20-year-old or whenever you started off all this?
I went to university and I finished my degree. So I think that was the main thing. Was I was always told as a fallback option, make sure that you study and you have a education of some kind. But I think what I would say is, I mean, look, I think it's easier and easier. I think when we start becoming parents, I think our kids will have it easy. I think we'll be a lot more kind of open-minded when it comes to career choices. I think obviously growing up as an immigrant in a different country, there's obviously that. It's a risk, right? I mean, it's a safer option to be a doctor or a lawyer because at least you're kind of guaranteed a job. As an artist, if your songs start to kind of not be cool, if you kind of fall off, then you're kind of done. So I think that risk is always there. And even making it in the first place, it's a very low chance of making it in this industry. So I think I would always advise someone to have a fallback option, have option B. But I think if you're going to go for it, go for it. I always say, if you have a passion, if you have a dream, I think just give yourself a certain amount of time to really, really chase it hard. I wouldn't say put it on the back burner. I'd say go for it initially, and if it doesn't work out, then have it as a passion. I mean, not everything has to be a career, right? I mean, if you're into something, you could always do it as a passion too. So I would always say that you have to monetize your passion, but if you can, it's amazing. So yeah,
it's so interesting because we've been interviewing people and everyone kind of says like it doesn't have to be a career, like it can also be just
exactly.
I think on the side.
Yeah, I think the joy of making music, say for example, or I don't know, painting or whatever it is that you do, it doesn't have to be career. It can just be joy. I think actually when I first started off making music as a producer, I used to sit in my bedroom for hours, and it was so fun. It used to just be pure bliss, just on my own. No one, no industry, no labels, no management company, just purely making art for the sake of it. I think that pure joy can always be there. That doesn't have to be, it doesn't always have to be shown to the world. It doesn't have to always be kind of approved by other people. So I think that passion you have, I mean, it might be something else. It might be, I don't know, something like acting or, modeling or something. So I think that can always be pursued on the side as well. So yeah, keep it going.
I think a lot of musicians and artists in general have talked about how COVID was kind of like a reset start for them. They were kind of reaching a burnout, and then they just really needed that time off to like realize how grateful they are for what they do every single day. Do you think you like experienced something similar?
Yeah, I think it's a mixture. I think I'm a very kind of social person, so I should admit I miss people. I think for me, I'm not an artist who kind of likes to be on my own too. I mean, I like it for a certain amount of time, but I really miss that. The events, the award ceremonies, the parties, the shows, and the energy of just being on stage. I think I miss that a lot. So for me, it's been kind of a mixture of the two. It has definitely been a reset. It's been nice to kind of not be on a plane, just be at home for a while. But I have got bored at times. I'm not gonna lie.
I think like a few months is enough. Like this whole year.
Yeah, I think easily. I think maybe 6 months would have been perfect. But yeah, over a year is a bit too long. But it's been. I mean, over here we've had kind of like quite intense lockdown. We've had lockdown for the last 3 months in the UK, so we haven't been able to. I think you guys are pretty chill in Texas, from what I've heard. So bit too chill. Yeah. So I think UK has been very, very bad. I think we've had 3 lockdowns in a row. I think we've had probably one of the worst countries in the world. I mean, US is pretty bad too. But I think So I think for me it's been. Sorry, yeah, you guys are up there too. Yeah, US and UK. But I think for me, it's definitely been a chance to get creative in the studio. I think I've had a long kind of period of time to kind of be kind of, I guess, writing and producing music, which has been, I guess, normally it's kind of under kind of a time pressure to kind of be on the road again. So there's like a week of time to kind of write a song or make a beat, and then I'm off to Africa or wherever I'm going, Australia, and it kind of feels a little bit tense. But now I feel like it's been a very relaxing kind of, I mean, like a few months where I've been just on my own in the studio. So it's been fun.
Yeah, I'm sure. What is something that were looking forward to in 2020 that just ended up getting canceled, obviously?
Well, like pretty much like a world tour got canceled. We had like a whole bunch of shows canceled. That was bad. For me, a whole bunch of friends' weddings got delayed. That was sad too. Like I had friends who were getting married who now will get married probably next year or maybe this year. Yeah. A lot of just, I guess, like it does feel like I feel really bad for people who are really young, kind of starting either high school or university, because I mean it's like a whole year of really, really important life that's been lost to us, right? Like it's a year of studying. Of, I guess, my nephew is in nursery and he hasn't seen his friends for almost a year. So I think that age group it'll be hard, I think, to kind of catch up that 1 year that they've lost. But I think for us, just, I guess, grateful that we have, I guess, an established. I've lost obviously a large chunk of my earning power because I haven't done shows, but I'm just kind of glad that I'm kind of a bit more established now in the scene. I think a young artist who just kind of began their journey, I mean, there hasn't been much of a support for, I guess, people who are self-employed in the UK. So, but yeah, it's been a tough time, but it's been fun at times too. So, yeah.
So when you're creating mashups, I feel like that's what you're well known for. Do you think you usually start off with the Indian song, or is it kind of like whatever you hear and then you're like, oh shit, like I can mash up this song with that? Like, what is the kind of process?
Interesting. So basically, when I first started out, maybe almost 10 years ago actually, I began by I'd write a song, an English R&B song, and I would literally see what fit with that. Sometimes that's how I began doing it. So I would make it, and the reason why I do that is because I can't write Hindi, so I couldn't get access to good writers. So I take a song that's been made already, like a Hindi catchy chorus, and I find that chorus obviously connects with everybody from everywhere, really, from India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. I mean, everyone knows Bollywood, right? So I think that the Hindi is kind of like a universal language for Asian people. So I think that was kind of where it began. I'd write an English song and take a Hindi chorus. Now, actually, the last few years, or when I was with T-Series, I would actually take a song and try and experiment the other way. So I take a Hindi song and I would put my twist on it. I try and put the kind of English vibe onto that, and that was what I guess. I mean, up to now, recently I've been doing it. And at one point I used to kind of mash up an English song and an Asian song. I take like a Drake track and like a Bollywood song and mash them. I think that was kind of my background in DJing at the start. As a kid, I used to DJ a little bit. I think that mashup kind of culture has always been there for me. So yeah.
That is so interesting, because I feel like a lot of people like me that have grown up abroad, like this is the first time we've kind of like, oh, this makes sense, like both of them colliding. This is like what I am in music. Last question. Yeah. So what is one thing you have now that you didn't in 2020, like in the beginning of 2020?
What do I have now? I've learned a lot of things. I've learned a lot of life skills. I've learned to kind of do more on my own. I've actually learned to cook a little bit. I can cook on one or two things. I can cut my own hair. I cut my own hair, but not very well. As you can see, it's like crazy fade. But I cut my own hair because it's locked down in the UK. Loads is actually a lot of like house skills that I never used to know because I was always very spoiled. I think I've learned a lot more for myself. And also just, I guess like just kind of learning to kind of be, I guess, more content with what we have and be grateful for what we have. Because I mean, we take for granted all the amazing things that we do, places we go to, restaurants, movies, cinemas, like just that basic stuff is, it's a shame that we haven't had that for a year, but I think it's been a good kind of learning curve too. So grateful to have that back.
I think everyone's become like a chef over quarantine or like their own professor. It's just a mess.
Instagram, full of like Instagram chefs, making their own avocado and toast and stuff. But yeah,
the avocado toast is all I can make. That is it.
Same.
That is the scope.
Pretty much. No, actually, I did learn to make chicken curry. Sorry to my vegetarian viewers, but yeah, chicken curry is like my favorite thing. So I learned on FaceTime I can make that with my mum. But
that's so cute. Okay, so I talked about song association, so it is that time now. So basically, I'm just gonna give you like 10 seconds. I'm gonna give you a word, and you have like 10 seconds to sing a song that has that word in it.
Oh my God, this is pretty challenging.
Putting you on the spot here.
Woke up about half an hour ago, so okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna start a stopwatch. So the first word is Nena.
Nena, Nena. Oh, what?
What?
That's like a name. Nena, you're so. Mate, I don't know. It's too early for me. Anyway, Nena. What rhymes with Nena? I can't think of a single word that rhymes with Nena. Bena, Shayna. What rhymes with Nena? I mean, in English.
I mean, it could be a song that's already like out there. You could just do a cover for us.
There's a song called Nena. Yeah.
You know, like,
not sure.
Like something like that.
What was that? Sorry? Sing that again.
It's like Nena Lagia Barisha.
Oh yeah, true. Okay, fine. But I can't. My Hindi's not as good as yours, clearly. So
that is true.
maybe an English word.
Okay, let's see. The next word. I'll give you an English word next. I'll give you something easy. Love.
Okay. What's the song that has love in it? Oh man, I'm very bad at this game. I'm falling in love. What's love? Oh, yeah, that's a R&B song. What's love got to do with it, babe? What's love got? It's about trust. Anyway, there you
go. Okay, pretty good. Okay. What about this one? I'm hoping you think of the right song because I had a specific song in mind. Okay. It's Kasam.
Kasam say, oh, that's my song.
Yeah.
Yeah, hang on. I have to learn that. Kasam se hudaya tera ishq mushkil hai pareshan had se zyada ye bechara. Why don't you sing along with me? Because you obviously know the
I
words.
Definitely don't know it enough to sing it along with you.
Oh, you don't? Okay, fine. Okay, there you go.
Okay, next
I think that's
song.
Okay.
Next song, let's do Tum. Pretty basic.
There you go.
That's good. I'm glad you got that one.
Yeah.
Let's do Girl. I feel like that's in a lot of your songs.
Girl, excuse me, girl. What's your there you go. What's that song? Ambasaria. How does it go? Excuse me, girl. What's your story? Just wanna get to know you better. Yeah. That's excuse me, girl.
You're giving us like little snippets of your singing.
Yeah, it was too early in the morning for me to sing properly because I've just woken up. But yeah, I'm like a vampire nocturnal routine. So.
Yeah. This is the first time I've woken up this early. It's like 10 a.m. here. Okay,
like 4 p.m.
last word. Let's see. I have to pick a good one.
You have to give an artist time to warm up their voice, by the way, next time as a thing. This is
let's do Heart, maybe?
Heart. Heartbreaker. I've got a song called Heartbreaker, but it's not come out.
I guess you can do that song.
If you had my heart, is that J-Lo? If you had my heart and I gave you all my trust, would you comfort me? That's J-Lo.
Okay, pretty good. You made a comeback at the end there. Okay. I don't know that song. I feel like I'm maybe like.
That's J-Lo something. I don't remember what it's called, but yeah, maybe I'm too old. But yeah.
You made a comeback there in the end. I'll give it to you.
Give me some warning so I can prepare. My brain is not switched on yet, but I was just going to be answering normal questions.
Excuses. All I hear are excuses.
Yeah, you can ask any artist if they haven't got time to do the little kind of warm-ups, and it's tricky, but yeah.
Yeah, and
fun game though.
On my part, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today and inspiring so many multicultural artists to create and like step out of their comfort zone.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You had a great time. Thank you.
Thank you.